Early on in the year, or when we've had a cold spring like we have this year, homegrown veg can seem scarce. You can look out through the garden and find hardly a thing to eat. Everything seems small, the ground seems brown, and that's the case with many of us right now. We're waiting on summer crops of potatoes and peas and root veg, and our squash and tomato and pepper plants are still pretty small. So to keep yourself in veg during this hungry gap of April to May, there are 3 main types of edibles that you can consider growing. The first is overwintered veg, crops that you start from seed the year before and that you grow on over winter. And we've had purple sprouting broccoli, and it's coming to the tail end of its season right now, but there's also kale and cabbages and chard. Chard, conversely, can live for many years as long as you keep picking the leaves. Even when it begins bolting, the leaves don't get bitter like other greens, such as lettuce and spinach. The second type of veg is perennial veg, and just as in the case with chard, there are other types of vegetables that can live for many years. Right now in the allotment, I'm picking quite a lot of 9-star broccoli, and this is a type of brassica that can live 5, 6, even upwards of 8 or 9 years. And it produces spears of broccoli, just like purple sprouting, but they kind of look like cauliflower, and they're absolutely delicious. I'm also picking Welsh onions, which I treat like giant chives. I have Egyptian walking onions as well, same thing. I use the greens like green onions or chives, and Taunton Dean kale, which is a perennial type of kale. And with the Taunton Dean kale, you can harvest that all year round. The third type of edible is of the wild kind, and this week's Lovely Greens YouTube video is with foraging chef Pippa Lavelle of Versa Restaurant in Port Erin. And she took me on a walk through Port Erin, and we picked so many different edibles in a sustainable way. And I learned so much in the way of unique flavors on this island. Now, while our wild spaces, our biosphere is rich in wild plants, so are our vegetable gardens. And there are quite a few plants that we blindly see as weeds, but are actually quite delicious. One that I discovered this year is hairy bittercress. Now this is an annual weed, it's easily removed, and it's very small, and it can be annoying because once it seeds, it goes all over the place. This year I found out that the leaves make an excellent addition to a salad. They taste like watercress or a bit like rocket. Absolutely delicious. Another is nettles. Now you think that they are going to sting you, but if you crush them or you steam or cook them, they lose all their sting. And by their dry weight, they are 25% protein, and they have loads of other vitamins as well. Dandelions, which we are now starting to allow to grow a bit more than we were in the past for the bees, are also edible. All parts of the plant are edible, including the flower, the leaves, and the roots. So try those out, pick some. I know that a lot of people take the dandelion flower heads and deep fry them, which is never a bad idea when you're trying something new. But also the greens, they have a kind of earthy and bitter flavor that you can add to salads and to other dishes. For even more ideas on wild plants that you can forage out of your garden, check out that video, and also think about those perennials and those overwintered vegetables that you can get started this year and enjoy next spring. As with so many things in the garden, it's that prior planning that really makes the difference.